Have you ever wanted to talk to someone, but you just couldn't? Not because you didn't want to, but your mind was kind of convinced that something was going to go like terribly wrong if you went up and talked to this specific person. It's something that I have experienced my entire life. There was a point in time in my life from like being 16 years old to now at 25. I'm still dealing with it a little bit. The social anxiety. You know, when I was younger, there was a point in time where my hands would just shake and I would just be so nervous to go talk to somebody, just anyone. And it even happened with, people I knew. I was super nervous that someone would judge me or they wouldn't like me. I think that was the biggest thing I went through. I was so desperate for people just to like me as I was growing up. And it kind of made me feel awful inside because wanted that feeling of, being wanted and being liked. I wanted that. And I was super afraid that I wouldn't get it. This is actually something that, a lot of people experience and go through the social anxiety. And I actually looked it up. Hopefully, I'll put it on the screen that it's an actual medical condition, a mental condition, uh, social anxiety disorder, also known as SAD, which I think is crazy. That it's, SAD, sad, because being sad has nothing to do with social anxiety. It's kind of funny, to be real honest, that that's what it is. So I won't classify it as that, as any sort of initials, because really, the happiest people in the world can still be afraid to go up and talk to someone and be afraid that someone might judge them or won't like them. But typically, in my experience, I've seen a lot of people, just be afraid to go up to talk to someone because they don't want to be judged or they don't want to embarrass themselves. That's what has been my biggest pain in life is being afraid of being judged or, embarrassing myself in front of others. Creating YouTube videos is something that I was afraid to do because I was, you know, scared that people would judge me over it. And it would kind of lead to this conversation or something that I would be embarrassed about. And I have tried to get over those feelings for so long. And I really haven't been able to, but it's kind of like public speaking. People talk about public speaking, the more you do it, the better you get. And I don't think that's really been my experience with YouTube so far, but I've learned a lot. And, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to be a fantastic public speaker, but that's besides the point. Uh, Social anxiety is something that, kind of controls people's lives. People won't meet new people or have these experiences that other people are having because they're too scared to go up and start a conversation with somebody. And it is awful. And I've someone who has personally experienced it myself, and I actually hate it. And it's something that is constantly on my mind. Any conversation I have, I spend hours, thinking about it. If I sounded stupid, or maybe I said something where I was like, oh, maybe I sounded really awkward. And that's what everyone's kind of going through when they have this social anxiety. And to be honest, I think the hardest part is when you're going to sleep and you're just laying in bed and you're just thinking about all the conversations you had during that day. And for me, it's been something that try to like think about how all these other people that I know are just being out in public and not having these feelings of like embarrassment or shame or being afraid to talk in front of other people or being concerned whether people like them or not. That's obviously, if I've already said, that's something that I've dealt with for a long time, being so afraid of people not liking me and wanting people to like me. And I want people to want me to be around and to talk to them. And it's never been simple. It's never been a simple thing. Social anxiety has had this like hold on my life. It's very complicated. A lot of people deal with it. And A lot of people kind of misunderstand, social anxiety. They'll think people are, just shy or maybe they're rude. You go to a party. I remember going to a party once, at my brother's dorm, a couple years ago, and I just got a drink and sat on the couch in the corner. And people were asking my brother, like, what's his deal? Is there something wrong with him? Is there something going on? And that's just like how I was going like through life. I was sitting in the corner. I was too afraid to talk to anyone, too afraid to start a conversation because I had no idea what to say, no idea how to just do anything in front of people because all these feelings of like not even embarrassment, just I wanted to be liked and I wanted to make sure that people liked me. So going into that party, and going and sitting in the corner and not talking to people was like the first way to like make sure that people wouldn't not like me because I'm obviously just chilling in a corner. That's it. It's a little bit embarrassing to say that now because I would like to go to parties and you know, I'm not exactly the life of the party, but I'd like to go and talk to people, meet new people. That's something I want to do now. So when I think about it now, it's like crazy because it's something I don't look back on fondly. So I feel like the fact that so many people are out there dealing with these feelings and these thoughts that are so unhealthy for them is concerning because people really should understand that some people feel these ways and are not just shy or rude even. People aren't rude, we're just sometimes just scared to go out and talk to people or start conversations. There are people who just genuinely don't want to talk to people. That's their thing. That's cool. But there are people who don't want to talk to people because they're scared of what could happen. And I think that's the biggest thing about social anxiety, the idea of being scared of what could happen and being judged and not being liked. It's so terrifying for anyone who deals with it and has dealt with it. And just on a personal level, I think that it's super hard to get over. It's not something that, it takes 1 or 2 days or starting 1 or 2 conversations and boom, you're fixed or you don't have any of these feelings anymore. It takes time, just like anything else. It takes time to really get over these feelings of fear, basically. And I think it's important that people know that living with something like this, it's not easy. It's not the hardest thing that you'll ever have to live with. But if you're someone who wants to go out there, meet new people, all these sort of things, it can really complicate your life. So I'd like to hear anyone who's watching this, your thoughts on all this. You know, have you experienced any of these feelings? Have you not? Do you kind of, get confused about some of it? I don't know. Whatever you have to say it in the comments. Leave a comment. If you're feeling these feelings, if you've dealt with social anxiety, you know, say it. I don't know. But this is gonna be the end of the video. I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe as well, but that's up to you. So I'm gonna end the video here, and this is gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.